Hello, Mark, Linda, and of course, little Georgia. Jeremy here from Southern Polescapes, and on behalf of me and Brian and our entire team, I'd like to say thank you for giving us the opportunity to design your backyard. And in this video, we're going to walk through your custom design and your initial proposal that we've created just for you. Now, we're going to review the design itself so that you can see how everything comes together, from layout and features to flow and function. And then after that, we're going to walk through your proposal in a lot of detail. Now, you're going to notice that this proposal is built around our base package, which already includes features that go far beyond what other builders are going to offer you. But we also know that your vision doesn't stop there, so we've included all the like an entire list of additional enhancements, and we know that these enhancements, a lot of them you've already asked for. Now, these enhancements are separated out intentionally, and that way you can clearly see the value of each one, better understand how they're going to impact your total investment, and decide which options you'd like to include in your final draft, and also make it easier for you to compare to other proposals that you're collecting from other builders. Now, at this stage, everything is listed at regular price, and once you let us know what you want to move forward with, we're going to apply every available discount and send you over an updated proposal. Now, this is your design. It's your design and your project and your investment, and we're here to help you bring it to life in a way that makes sense for your space, your timeline, and of course your budget. So I'm excited to show you the design that I've spent a little bit of time enhancing, and then we're going to walk right into your budget. I'm excited to show you everything. Let's get started. All right, so what you see here is the design that we left your home with, and some enhancements as well. So just a few things that I added. I added a pergola over here because I thought it could be a really good dining area on the other side of the outdoor kitchen. I added a little bit more detail to the outdoor kitchen. Now, I can't remember exactly what components you have in there, but I did give you that granite or marble countertop that you have. And then what I did also was I added a little bit of landscaping here. Linda, I know you are really passionate about your landscaping, and I know it's a lot of work, but you're really good at it. I want you to tell me what things you want me to swap out here in these planners so that I can give you what you want instead of just kind of guessing. I think you had more of a traditional instead of not as much tropical, more traditional, landscaping that you put in your planters over here. But once again, I just wanted you to, I want to encourage you to direct me in that regard. I did put a little bit more detail into this pool house, like an awning and some lights and windows and in the French doors, and I put some furniture up against that space so you can see how it would fit if you decided to go that route. And then, of course, we can see what it's going to look like at night and during the day. And, I just realized we don't have a light in the spa, so let's go ahead and get that in there really quick because we want to see what this is going to look like at night. And let's do this. All right, I'm going to put this where I think it should go. We're going to pull this up and give you some illumination in that spa. So there you go. You've got two lights in the pool itself. You have a light in the spa. We gave you an LED bubbler there. They're a little pricey, but I think they're wonderful as far as what they can do for the aesthetic of your pool. And of course, being able to move the water on that tanning ledge is really important. With that dark interior, you can see, even in this program, you can see how it's going to mirror the, and what I want to do is I'm going to pull the bubbler out. Let's say if we turn the bubbler off, and we make that water nice and calm and try to get rid of those ripples. There we go. And I'm just going to kind of move this over. There we go. I want that calm. There we go. Because at night, you're going to see that reflection, and it looks so cool. So you're going to reflect that building behind it. And it's just a really, really pretty effect from a darker interior finish. But let's go ahead and put that bubbler back. There we go. Awesome. Okay, so we have a rectangular square 6x6 spa. You can easily fit 4 people in there, 5 if you really like each other. And we have that fire pit over here. Now, I went ahead and extended that channel drain all the way across the entire solution and made it match with the concrete just a little bit better. Now, the scoring in the concrete would look better than this. I can't really score it the way we would score it in your yard, but just know that we would put those expansion joints in the concrete, and they would be strategically placed based on where the pool is and, relative to the house and the existing patio, et cetera, et cetera. At night, I did put some uplighting on these little palm trees trees here, which I think is just, you know, a nice effect. We can run chase lines for you too for some outdoor lighting, but I wouldn't have the pool builder actually install lighting because pool builders are just going to be more expensive than if you just got an electrician. But what we can do is you know, run like you know, some chase lines or even just the conduit and stub it up so that an electrician just can snake through the conduit whatever they want to hook up whatever you want, whether that's going to be lighting or speakers or whatever you want to do out there. So I felt that this design turned out really, really well. I'm very pleased with it. You have a lot of space here for furniture. I haven't even filled the space yet. For example, if we want to put some more lounge chairs over on this side, you know, as you can see, plenty of space for lounge chairs and then still plenty of space to walk around. So I love your lot. I love the fact that you have so much space back there, and I can't wait to see what you're going to do with it. You've done a great job already, and we really hope we can be part of the rest of this solution. So with that, I wanted to go ahead and show you, oh, I did put some equipment over here as well. Now I wanted to show you what your proposal looks like and help explain how I set up the proposals so that you have an easier time understanding how to compare to other builders. So we're going to switch over to that now. All right, so we're looking at the first page of your proposal. We have some pictures here. You've already seen this picture and the second picture. You haven't seen me looking cute over here. We're trying to look cute with various levels of success. And then moving down, you see some more pictures, 8 more pictures on the second page, different angles, different times of the day. I try to give you a really good perception or perspective of what this is going to look like. We work really, really hard to do this for you because we want to make sure we bring this to life so that you know what you're going to build and what you're going to invest in. Now, as we move on, Linda, since you're the one that called in the appointment, I've got your name up here. We can add Mark's information up there as well. And then the size of the pool. So the pool itself is 338 square feet of surface area of water, and that's just the pool. The envelope of the pool is 15 by 30 with a 93-foot perimeter. The shallow end of the pool is 3.5 feet, and it goes to a 6-foot deep end. And then we have a gunite with number 4 steel reinforced bond beam. Now, we had talked about this. Remember how we were talking about you guys loving to play, you know, beer pong with that red Solo cup? Well, that white rim right there, that's the primary structural element of that cup. If you were to damage the rim of that cup's going to collapse in your hand and you're going to make a mess. And so I'm sure that guy drinking that beer wasn't happy about it. And I don't think you'd be happy about damaging your pool because of all the movement we have in the ground here, as well as the groundwater and hurricane level winds. So we want to make sure that you have the strongest pool possible. By the way, you're probably going to hear my family walking in after running some errands, so forgive me. That's just an occupational hazard of me working from home over the weekend. Now, as we move down, you're going to see some things in here that I'm going to talk about enhancing a little bit later, and I'll show you what that means. Now, with the waterline tile, we start you off at a 6x6 waterproof or frostproof waterline tile, but you'll see some enhancements below. And then your coping is we start off with a 6x12 travertine coping with 3 different color choices, and below you're going to see links to a bunch of pictures of those color choices. Now, interior finish, this is not what I want you to have. I want you to have a pebble aggregate finish. Like a Pebble Tech. This is a Pebble Quartz plaster, which is going to fail in about 10 years. And when it fails, I wanted to show you kind of like some examples here. So we have a damaged plaster discoloration that happens about year 5. And then about year 8 and 9, you're going to see cracks. Year 10 and 11, you're going to see total delamination of the interior of your pool. So then it's going to have to be drained and it's going to have to be replaced at a cost of about $10,000 to $15,000. I know a pool and spa combo like what you're looking at right now, it would cost about $10,000 in today's dollars for us to rehab that project and redo the interior. So we don't want to spend that. So I'm going to teach you how to avoid that by spending a little bit more up front, but that's going to save you, you know, $20,000, $30,000 over the 20 years of ownership of this pool. Now, as we move down, you're going to see that we have our Hayward TriStar XL variable speed 2.7 commercial grade pump, and that's what it looks like in that picture right there, with the exception that Hayward actually puts a blue casing instead of a gray casing on the side for us to match our logo. The way we're going to use that is we're going to make sure that the hydraulics support the power of a pump that's almost a full horsepower bigger than what our competitors are going to offer you. So you see this guy's trying to suck a milkshake through a straw that's too small, and he's about to blow a gasket. We certainly don't want him to do that, and we don't want your pump to fail prematurely, and we don't want you to spend a lot of electricity getting to that unfortunate conclusion. So what we're going to do is show you how we avoid that. We did discuss this face-to-face, but I like to reinforce it over this video. So as we move down a little bit further into the proposal, you're going to see a Hayward Swim Clear 325 cartridge filter, 325 meaning the square footage of cartridge or filtration material that's used. With your size pool, that's perfectly adequate, more than adequate, so I would recommend not spending any more money than that on a bigger filter. The 325 is perfectly fine for the scope of your project. Now, the sanitizing process is going to be with the salt cell. This is going to be a salt pool using the AquaRite S340K salt system. That is one of the best salt systems there is. So there's the salt cell right there, and you can see well, you can't see, but I'm going to provide you some links so you can do all the research on your own if you choose to, that this salt cell is the most efficient salt cell in the market. Most salt cells are going to capitalize on about 9,000 parts per million salt content. Now, 9,000 parts per million is about as much as salt that you have in your teardrop. So if you hit that level, it's a very comfortable swim experience. But our salt cell can go as low as 3,000 parts per million because it's very, very efficient at converting salt into chlorine. But if you need to adjust the capitalization of salt to create chlorine so you can create more chlorine through automation on an app on your phone, you could just tell the system to use more salt, and it's going to use more salt to create more chlorine. Very, very easy system to use. Now, as we move on, you're going to see our Hayward, two Hayward Color Logic lights. In fact, you would have three because below you're going to see the spa package here. But in the pool itself, two Hayward Color Logic lights. A lot of illumination is going to come from those lights, and you can control the colors. You can alternate between colors all on the app on your phone. Of course, you'll have the same kind of light in your spa. Now, a little bit further down, you're going to see that we are using a Paramount MDX R3 main drain. That's the debris accepting main drain that you see there, and you're going to have one in the pool and one in the spa. Now, we're the only ones that sell this as a standard. There might be a couple other pool builders that would allow you to choose it as an upgrade, but it is part of our standard offerings because we know that proper circulation is really the key to maintaining a healthy pool. And when I say healthy on your bank account as well, because we don't want you to spend a lot of money on maintenance, chemicals, and electricity. And this Paramount MDX R3 main drain is part of the entire system that we use. Now, moving on a little bit further, the Paraskim V Venturi skimmers. Now, this Venturi skimmer is going to be 200% more powerful than a standard skimmer. But you can see like how big or tall that skimmer is. That's because the basket capacity is 3 times the size of a typical basket. So you're rarely having to empty the baskets, which means they're not getting full, they're not getting clogged up, and it's not going to cause your pump to overwork and burn out prematurely and spend a lot of money on electricity. So then we move down a little bit further. Now, our EcoPool, game changer in the industry. We've been doing this as a standard for many years. We are absolute experts at this, and this is the minimum pool that we build. So we do it on every single pool unless we're enhancing a pool and upgrading it to a full in-floor cleaning system. So the reason that other builders aren't going to offer you this is because they don't have the expertise to do it. And if they did offer it to you, they would charge more because they don't have the expertise. They have to cover the high likelihood that they're going to make a mistake and they're going to have to fix a mistake. So that's one of the reasons we can offer it for the price that we offer it. We do it 250 times a year when we build pools. Now, our filter, we already talked about, is going to be that AquaRite S340K, or I'm sorry, not the AquaRite, that's your salt cell, but your, where is it? The 325, right here, the Hayward Swim Clear 325. That's right there. You're also going to get specs on that below as well. Now, that Paramount EcoPool system, we use 3 of those rotating heads that are flush with the plaster or pebble of your pool when they're not in use, and when they pop up, every time they pop up, they're going to rotate 1/15 of a rotation, making sure that very little debris can really settle on the floor of the pool. It gets kicked up in the water where it's going to float, and as long as it's floating, it's eventually going to get sucked out of the main drain or the skimmers. Now, the actual setup here, I wanted to show you, hold on, I need to find the graphic. Okay, so this eco pool right here, you're gonna notice that on the left, an ordinary pool is going to place the returns near the surface of the pool, up to 6 returns around the surface of the pool. And that's problematic because all of those returns are fed off of one line. So when you split one 2-inch line into, or even 1.5-inch line into 6 smaller lines, you're gonna have an anemic water flow. So no water pressure pushing the water into the pool, it's just trickling in. Well, that water's carrying the chemicals that sanitize your pool, the chlorine that's created from the salt cell. And if it doesn't get pushed all the way into the pool, then it's gonna float on top and evaporate out, just like that graphic shows. And then debris has no way to move on the bottom of the pool, so it's gonna settle and it's gonna grow, and this is where the nightmare begins, right? So with our pools on the second and third illustration here, we're gonna put those 3 returns on the bottom, in addition to 3 returns on the wall, but we alternate between the floor and the wall every 3 minutes or so that you have maximum water pressure instead of having 6 returns working at the same time. Now, because we're creating those alternating zones, that allows those rotating heads to rotate 1/15 a degree, as I mentioned before, so that they are going in a 360 degrees around the pool throughout the day as this operates, not allowing any debris to settle. Now, as we keep moving down here, you're going to see that we have a para level, and we have an overflow and I'm going to try to speak a little bit more clearly now. We have an autofill and an overflow included in your system, which means you're never going to have to put a hose in your pool because of evaporation, which means your water is never going to drop below the waterline tile, which is very important because you don't want your skimmers to run dry and damage your equipment, and you also don't want to expose your interior finish to the air without water because it's going to become dried out and brittle, and you're going to have to replace it prematurely. So the autofill is really important. The overflow is going to help keep water overflowing out of the pool during torrential downpours so that you don't have water kind of washing back towards your house. Even though we do put a channel drain in there, a lot of water can overcome a channel drain if we're not careful. So we want to have an overflow that siphons any overflow water into the normal drainage pattern of your yard. Now, your automation, the Hayward Omni PL plus your AquaWhite S3 salt cell, is really the most sophisticated pool automation for residential pools. It's very, very easy to work. You have this wonderful app on your phone. Looks something like this right here, and you can control your spa. You can control your cleaning cycles. You control your lights. If you add a heat pump, you can control your heat pump. And if you wanted to invest a little bit more, you can also control your automation or your water features. In this case, it would just be a lit bubbler or a regular bubbler. We can automate that as well. Now, you're going to notice that I didn't put any pool package enhancements into the package yet, so you're not going to see any prices up here in the total, but you do see the spa package here. So 36 square feet, 3 foot of depth, same NPT 6-inch by 6-inch frost-proof tile. Interior finish right now is shown as a pebble quartz plaster, but you don't want that. I'm going to show you your other options below. The spillway we can do with a lip or without. The difference between a lip or without a lip is whether you want the water spilling out and dropping directly into the water so you get a little bit of noise there, or if you want the water spilling and just kind of rolling down the wall, we would not put a lip, but that's up to you, and the price is exactly the same. Now, your pump for your spa is going to be shared with the pool. Your filter is going to be shared with the pool. Your main drain is going to be, you're going to have a dedicated main drain in your spa as well. You're going to have 6 therapy jets, and then you're going to have 2 returns that are going to be operating when you're not in spa mode, and when those returns are on, that's going to cause that spillover effect to happen into your pool. But when your spa is on, you don't want to lose that hot water, so the spillover effect doesn't work. Those returns will turn off when you're in spa mode. Then you're going to have 3 air vents to get you a Venturi power action in the jets itself. It's going to be much more powerful than if they didn't have a Venturi component to it. And then your heater is going to be a Hayward Universal HL 400,000 BTU gas heater. Moving down, I didn't include the hardscapes in the package price yet because I wanted to show you all your options. And then because you have a spa, this is a hidden cost that surprises a lot of customers from other builders, but we include this allowance because a gas plumber by law has to make that connection for your gas heater. Now, they'll charge anywhere between $1,000 and $2,000. We don't always know what they're going to charge, so we put a $2,000 allowance in there, and we'll give you back what's not used on your final draw of your final payment on the pool. Then I've already given you a $1,000 discount, but what I mentioned to you before is that everything in this enhancement section here in these additional notes, this is all listed at regular price. And when you tell me what you want me to put in your final proposal, I'm going to go back and discount those items as much as I can. But I wanted to show you how to navigate this. So anything in orange is going to be an optional enhancement that's already in your design, but not yet priced out in your package. So if I scroll down a little bit further, you're going to see tanning ledge, any shape, any size, $875. Your bubbler, an LED bubbler, is $1,900 compared to a standard bubbler that is $449. And the reason that it's different is like a standard bubbler is really just kind of like a piece of PVC that allows the water to come out. But the LED bubblers require obviously an LED light comparable to the other lights in your pool, as well as all the electrical that has to be run to it. So it's quite a bit more expensive. We don't have any deck jets in your design right now, but once again, let's go to the top. I wanted to show you how to navigate this again. Your energy, this yellow section is going to be any energy, chemical, time-saving upgrades, right? So if we roll down here a little bit more, you're going to see that your PV3 in-floor cleaning upgrade, this is a fully self-cleaning pool for your system, would be self-cleaning pool and self-cleaning spa, would come with the price tag of $11,830, and that's regular price. Usually I can discount these items, but this is going to be a completely self-cleaning pool. But you can learn more about it by hitting the link and going to the webpage on Paramount, where you can play a video and kind of go through and see much more detail about what that does. So you can hit this and watch this video of what the PV3 in-floor cleaning system is. And it's it's one of the best investments you can make, but it's not a cheap item. It does pay for itself in about 6 years, because you're only going to spend about 9 or 10% on electricity, and maybe 20 to 30% on chemicals of a standard pool year after year, and you won't have to pay for anybody cleaning your pool. So it does pay for itself in a short amount of time. Now you can get like our Eco Pool circulation system that's already included. Once again, you have a link to learn more about that. So it's a lot of the same components as the in-floor cleaner. Temperature control, if you want to learn more about your heat pump, you can hit that link. So I guess I'm not going to hit every single link here, but I wanted to show you that all you have to do is left click on that link, and then it's going to take you over to that item so you can learn more about it. Even the Color Logic lights, if you hit that, you'll be able to go to the actual website, the laminar jets, etc., etc. But these links are going to be even more important for you. Sorry, this is freezing up a little bit. Hold on, there we go. All right, hold on. Let me get back to it. It froze up. There we go. Okay, so now as we roll down a little bit further, you're going to see we don't have deck jets in your design, but you can see what the price of the deck jets would be there. If you wanted to do any raised features, you can always hit this button, and it'll take you over to an example of a water feature, and the price that I showed you right in the raised water feature option, that price would be for that water feature right there. So it's all based on size and scale and how many features. So I just like to give you one example just in case you want to explore putting one of those in your pool. Now, tile option, you have the MPT frost-proof tile. You have MPT glass tile upgrade for $3,978, and then you have Lightstream's handcrafted glass tile for $5,265. But once again, you can hit the link, go check out the product, and it gives you really a good idea of what the product looks like. Now, if we come back to your proposal again, this is the really, really important part. So these yellow sections right in here, most important upgrade you can consider. This is your pebble interior finish, and I include links to every single color. So here's white diamonds in a bunch of different pools. So I can't make it any easier, right? I want to make sure that you understand your options and the associated price. And keep in mind, once again, these are all regular price. I can always come up with some type of discount. You just got to let me do it by telling you, or you tell me what you want me to put into the final proposal, and then I'll work on the discounts. I see some weird color variation here that's going to bug me. I have to fix that. But once again, Black Eclipse, that's like the highest, the more expensive black finish, but you guys had mentioned that you really like the darker pool. So if you go to Black Onyx, which is in tier 2, a little bit less expensive, you can see several pools in that option, and all of these are very, very beautiful pools. So I try to make it easy. Now, you can enhance your interior finish by adding something called Shimmering Seas, which is going to be an additive that makes your pool sparkle a little bit in the sun. That's what it looks like right there. And they just mix it in with the aggregate finish when they're applying it. Or you can add Luminous, which is going to add colored beads to the finish that look like this, 3 different color options right there. And you can add that to any color finish that we have. And you can see the price point. So you would take that number and add it to the number above to get the total number if you want to enhance those finishes with Shimmering Seas or Luminous. Then you have the most expensive option, the Pebble Essence. There's 5 colors. There's a lot of sparkle in this stuff. So if we go to Aqua Essence, you're going to see here that these pools are going to sparkle a bit more in the sun because of the additives. So those ones have Luminous and Shimmering Seas already added to it, and that's why the price point is so much higher. But once again, these are regular prices, and I can always come up with discounts. Now your pool deck, I know you want broom finish concrete, so I did price that out. Now I have your hardscapes priced out in 3 different categories. You have your pool deck of 1,371 square feet. Then you come down the pool house section, which is that little section right outside of the pool house, is 180 square feet. And then the patio overlay, if you decided to go with pavers, you can also overlay the patio, which would be an additional 334 square feet. So when you come up here and look at this, your pool deck, you can see some pictures of broom finish concrete pools that we did. Here's one right here. Once again, I want to make it as easy as possible. If you want to see a textured concrete pool, here's one here. You can see what textured concrete looks like. If you want to see what a Belgard paver pool looks like, this is Napoli Belgard paver installation right here. So once again, I'm just kind of clicking things to show you exactly what they look like. If you want to see what a herringbone travertine in ivory looks like, you can look at this, and this takes you right to our gallery, and these are all pools that we have built ourselves. So it's just a very, very easy to use gallery on our website. And then your pool house has the same options. Sorry, we just keep getting a little messed up here. There we go. Good. All right. Now coping, you can enhance your coping. You're already priced out for 6x12 travertine in any of these 3 colors. So if I want to see what Noche looks like on coping of a pool, you can see it right there. That's Noche travertine in a pool. So if you want to see what oversized travertine looks like, you can see ivory in a 16x24 in a pool that we built. So it's just, like I said, we can't really make it that much easier, but I wanted to make it as easy as possible for you. Now your automation, you can see right here that we have your automation. You can just dive into this and learn more about it by hitting that link. And also, if we go back up here, I wanted to show you that all of this stuff, here's all your Hayward equipment. It's going to go right over to their portal where you can read up on all that equipment. And this is this level of specificity that you should demand from every single builder that you talk to. And if you don't get that specificity, even after you ask them for it, you need to fly your red flags. That is definitely a red flag, because you can't trust that they're going to put in the best solution for you if it's not called out in a contract. So you want to be careful. So you can, once again, you can see what those Para-V skimmers are going to look like in a pool. You can learn all about it. So I've made this very, very easy for you. Even you can learn about microglass, which is what we put on all interior finishes for our pool to get you more life and more protection. We just do that as a standard, and you can see all kinds of pictures of all the options. I hope this makes it really, really easy for you to decide where you want to be. Now, if you wanted a handrail or ladder, this discusses that. Fire pits, I wouldn't get a fire pit from a pool builder because we're kind of stupid expensive with those things. Now, potential additional costs. So groundwater, as we talked about, is always something that could be a consideration. Now, when you hit this link, it's going to take you to a better explanation of what I'm talking about. So understanding dewatering process. So you can dive in there. If you want to understand why some pools need special engineering, which would not be an issue for you, but if you wanted to learn more about it, you can read right here. I put together an article for you to read. Stormwater plans are necessary, but not for you because your property's over an acre. But if you wanted to learn more about why stormwater is needed for a lot of properties, I wrote an article here for you to look at. And if, just anything, tree stump removal, demolition of existing structures or hardscapes, additional electrical work. So for example, your proposal and contract is going to include our standard electrical that's required for any any pool to be built. But sometimes homeowners will ask our electricians to do additional work, and we wanted to make sure you understood that if you did that, read that section there, because it's going to explain that we cannot be responsible for anything that's off contract. Also, a lot of older homes don't have proper panels and need to be upgraded, so that's not going to be you guys because you have a newer home, so I'm not too worried about that. But I like to include everything just in case you want to read through it. If you guys are looking at any financing, I think you guys mentioned you're not, but if you did want to explore some Lion Financial is the best option. And then HFS right here. I don't know why it says inquire today. I need to fix that, but this is a link to HFS, which is another option right there. So once again, and then our warranty statement, I included that right here. So you click that, and that's our warranty statement, and you can dive into our warranties with a lot of detail. So that is it for that proposal. A little bit of other information down at the end, but that is your proposal in a nutshell. All right, guys, I really appreciate the time you spent with us, and Brian and I really enjoyed our time with you. You guys had all the right questions, and you allowed us to stay long enough to really help you feel comfortable with our process. It's always my goal to give you the best outcome. Unfortunately, there's with the rise of construction costs, any type of construction, homes or fencing and pools and anything, it's all gone up so much that a lot of contractors are caught up trying to chase the bottom price points by cutting corners so that they can get into your yard with a more attractive price point. But that's not what you're going to end up spending. You need to ask for all the specificity that we had provided you right here. I have to combat this all the time because there have been a lot of people that have been kind of they've been screwed over basically by builders in the area, and that means a lot of people are nervous about working with pool builders. But we have been around for a long time. I wouldn't work for any other builder, and I think you could probably agree that I could pretty much work for any builder. I've become very successful doing this because of the way I treat my customers and how I make sure that all the projects are going to be exactly what we promise. Construction's always a pain. We do it better than anybody, but that doesn't mean that there might not be some headaches involved. But the bottom line is Southern Poolscapes is going to stand by our promises. We're going to rally around any issues that happen, and we're going to make sure that you end up with a project that is going to be wonderful, phenomenal. It's going to attract your family to come and visit and spend some time with you, and we're really excited to see it happen. So we hope that we have the opportunity to do this for you, but what I'll do is I will follow up with you a little bit later, and if you have any questions for me, feel free to just pick up the phone, text me, call me, email me. I'm here for you. But in the meantime, enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'm about to go watch a movie on a new sofa that we just bought. So I'm excited to go have kind of a relaxing evening after a very busy week out in the sun. So you guys have a great, great weekend, and I look forward to speaking with you again very soon. Bye.